The collapse of a marriage can be sparked by countless causes: boiling arguments, lingering resentment, or, in my situation, a discovery so jarring it shifted the ground beneath my feet. Ironically, it wasn't the argument itself that ended things between Stacy and me. No, what tore us apart came to light in the middle of one of our all-too-frequent shouting matches. It started on what seemed like just another Saturday morning. Once again, Stacy and I found ourselves locked in a shouting contest, loud, repetitive, and exhausting. The trigger? I couldn't even tell you now. It was probably something small, insignificant even: unwashed dishes, laundry tossed aside, or some other minor domestic squabble. That's how it always was between us. Throughout our relationship, we each harbored an unrelenting need to be right. Every disagreement became a battlefield, every opinion a weapon. It was as if proving the other wrong somehow kept the relationship alive. No matter the topic, what film to watch, or whether the coffee mug needed rinsing, our tempers erupted with the same fire. And when we weren't arguing, we often gave each other the silent treatment, sometimes for days. We had convinced ourselves this was our version of love: raw, volatile, passionate. Our very own Italian drama. That morning followed the same chaotic script. We shouted, hurled insults, and reached into the deepest corners of our frustration to find the cruelest words, the kind meant to leave scars. Then came Stacy's breaking point. She screamed, "That's it. I'm done. I'm leaving you, for good." Without thinking, I fired back, "Who would even want someone as hysterical as you? Where are you going to find another fool willing to deal with you?" I'm not proud of it. It was a cruel jab, one of many we'd traded over the years. At the time, all I cared about was saying something that would hurt just as badly as I felt. Normally, she would have responded with something equally scathing. But this time was different. Her face changed. The usual fiery rage didn't come. Instead, she looked at me with cold, contained fury. Her voice, low and controlled, cut deeper than any scream ever could. "You think no one wants me," she said. "My boss has been chasing me for a while now. He actually sees something in me. He thinks I'm incredible." And just like that, she stormed out, slamming the door behind her. Her words hit me like a freight train. I was crushed, blindsided by fury and betrayal. I wanted to chase her down, to scream, to demand answers. But even in my worst moments, I had never, and would never, resort to violence. So instead, I just sat there, frozen, wishing I could erase the last few minutes from existence. I would have done anything to rewind time, to pretend it never happened, to sleep it off and wake up in a different reality. 3 days dragged by, long, bitter, sleepless days. I kept trying to convince myself it was all in my head. Maybe she had just said it out of spite. Maybe it was just another argument taken too far. But then she came back. Only this time, she wasn't alone. 2 movers followed her into the apartment, silent and efficient, as she walked straight to our bedroom. Without a single word to me, she began boxing up her things: her clothes, her books, her life. I watched as she loaded it all into the van waiting below. And then, just like that, she was gone. There was no final outburst. No last insult. No pleading. Just silence. It was done. In the weeks that followed, the arguments didn't stop completely. They simply moved to our phones. But those calls became less frequent, the bitterness less sharp. Eventually, they stopped altogether. We spent the next 6 months apart. During that time, I went through the full spectrum of human emotion: rage, envy, guilt, sorrow, and mostly regret. The dreams wouldn't let go of me. In them, the ending always changed. Our fight would unravel into apologies, and Stacy would come running back, tears in her eyes, swearing she'd only said those things to wound me. There had never been another man. It had all been a cruel bluff. But every time I woke up, reality hit with the force of a sucker punch. She had betrayed me. And she was gone. Until she wasn't. One evening, without a text or a call, she appeared at my front door. No explanation. No build-up. Just rang the bell like she had stepped out to grab groceries and had finally come home. When I opened the door, she walked right past me like nothing had happened. She went straight into the kitchen, opened the cupboard, and began making coffee, like she still lived there, like 6 months of silence hadn't passed between us. I just stood there, watching her move through the space like a ghost haunting her old life. Then, as casually as if she were commenting on the weather, she took a sip of the coffee, looked directly at me, and said, "I want to start over." I couldn't hide the jolt her words sent through me. "Wait, hold on," I said, my voice sharper than I intended. "You do understand there's one thing I can't forgive. Not ever." Her eyes shifted away from mine, and I kept going. "Cheating. If you slept with him, if anything physical happened, I'll never get past it. I know myself. That image of you with him, it'll poison everything. I'll see it when we're close, think about it at the worst possible times. It'll live with me, and I'll hate myself for staying." She said nothing. I didn't either. The silence between us was brutal. Part of me, some small, stubborn piece, still wanted to believe there was a way back. If she had made it up in the heat of the moment, maybe there was a path to forgiveness. Maybe. And then, as if she had read my thoughts, Stacy spoke. "I lied," she said quietly. "There was no one else. I just wanted to hurt you, to get back at you for saying no one would ever want me. I'm sorry." A single tear slipped down her cheek, her expression painted with what looked like sincere regret. It felt like one of those scripted moments, where the music swells and the couple embraces, choosing love over pride. But I already knew the truth. I had spoken to someone at her office, a coworker who didn't owe her loyalty and had no reason to lie. Stacy hadn't been living on her own. For 6 months, she'd been staying in a place her lover, her boss, had rented for her. The same man she swore didn't exist. The same one she claimed she never touched. I laid it all out. She didn't argue, didn't cry, didn't deny it. She simply grabbed her purse and bolted out the door. 1 second she was standing in my kitchen. The next, she was gone, like smoke fading in the wind. And that was all I needed. Her return wasn't about love or guilt or some heartfelt desire to rebuild what we had. It was survival. Desperation, plain and simple. The man she'd thrown everything away for? He had strung her along with big promises, a new life, a clean slate, a future together. Told her all the things she wanted to hear. But when it came time to act, when his immigration paperwork finally went through, he ditched her. Worse, he only paid her rent 1 more month after breaking things off. That's when it all sank in for her. She had been used. And suddenly, the life she'd abandoned, the ordinary husband who supported her, stood by her, gave a damn, didn't seem so bad anymore. So she showed up at my door, lies preloaded, hoping to rewrite the past. Hoping I'd take her back and pretend none of it happened. But I didn't fall for it. Not this time. Now she's the one left picking up the broken pieces, while the man she risked everything for flies off to start his new life, without her. And me. I'm finally free. Free from the deception, the manipulation, and the shadows that clung to our marriage like mold. No more lies. No more hidden truths. Just peace. And that's more than I ever thought I'd have.